Hundreds of people came out to Nacogdoches to hear Democratic State Rep and Senate candidate James Talarico. He will now be facing Ken Paxton, who defeated incumbent Senator John Cornyn in Tuesday's Republican runoff election. Talarico shared his mission to what he called Take Back Texas by addressing corruption in Congress, creating more resources for the working class, and addressing the Texas teacher shortage. Specifically in East Texas, he says he wants to make sure he can help farmers.
Farmers who are worried about these crazy tariffs, and they're worried about the cuts made to farm subsidies. And I've made a commitment to farmers out here in East Texas that we're going to bring back those subsidies, and we're going to get rid of these crazy tariffs so that East Texas farmers can start to succeed.
Talarico is currently on tour across Texas with stops next in San Antonio.